know I wrote it down in many places, but one of my policies, if you will, policies was I make them say no, make them tell me to leave them alone. Like I wouldn't let anybody off the hook. If they yeah, if they said, yeah, I'm interested, I'd like to learn. I'm like, great. Well, you just committed yourself to about, the next 365 days of me knocking on your door until you answer it and say, yes, I'll learn, or no, leave me alone, one or the other. I make them say no. So the story is that me and Elder Jodine, oh my gosh, me and Elder Jodine were on bikes. We're riding bikes, and to get back to the apartment from one of the main intersections, it was equally distant either direction. So whoever was in the front just picked the direction they're going to go, and we go that way. I was in the front, and I decided to go to the left. I felt like that'd be the better option. Half mile down the road, somebody's sitting out with a car that's not working and trying to push it. And so we stopped and helped them. And what are you guys doing? Well, we're elders, missionaries, and be happy to teach you about Jesus Christ. Sounds good. Well, they gave me their address and their number, right? We knocked on their apartment door for about 4 months. And every time I would either be myself or I would have somebody else go and knock on that door to see if they were home. It was so bad that they were hiding from us. And one time, Elder Jodine was walking around the building to go up the stairs and knock on the door, and they were coming on the other side of the building, and they saw him and ran away. And he's like, Elder Bozeman, just take them off the list. They saw me and ran away, man. Like, they're not interested. And I was like, nope, they have to say no. Like, it's not my call. They said they were interested in learning about Jesus Christ. So we're going to keep trying to teach them about Jesus Christ until they tell us to leave them alone. So I go knock on the door, and someone answered the door for the first time in like 4 months. And she answered the door, and it was Audra, and she was a babysitter. She was watching their kid. And I was like, Jodine, get up here. And so he came up because, I can't just talk by myself, right? So I went up there, and we just said, hey, obviously you're alone here, but we're looking for the couple. So, well, they're not here, and I'm just babysitting. And I was just like, hey, maybe you'd like to learn about Jesus Christ. And that's what we do. We teach lessons. And she was like, oh, interesting. Found out she had a friend who was a member of the church, right? This is a long story. But Audra, Chantel, and Pete all got baptized. But those three, they got baptized. And Audra, I kept in touch with her for years. She was active, and she was, I think, last time I checked, she was a Leaf Society president in her ward years ago. So, I mean, but the lesson behind that one is just like what you said earlier. You didn't stop. And everyone's telling you it's a waste of your time. And that's what happened. That's what happened to me, too. I just kept saying to myself, if they really don't want to learn, they'll just say no. Eventually, they'll just say no. But I need to actually hear that from them, or I don't feel comfortable just letting them go. I've told that story to several people before, that with the whole idea that you just don't give up on someone, and even if, aside from don't give up, it's not my call to give up. And as a missionary, I didn't feel like it wasn't my call to quit on them. Right? They said yes, and I had to keep going until they said no. Like, that's how I felt, and that whole mentality really served me well, because there's a lot of people that I was able to connect with, later on.